Hello and welcome to the Quibber channel. I'm Jason, your host, and we're talking about dementia. And I know I'm being very harsh on this because you need to be prepared for this. You need to get things in place. Realise that this person that looked after you, that cared for you, that took care, that you grew up with and that, is going to end up as a child. A full-size child, a very strong child, who will not have any of the limits that they had when they were in charge of their faculties. And you need to realise that you've got to take control and you've got to make sure that everybody else is safe as well as them. Do not leave them alone with children. I'm sorry, that's going to break your heart. But do not leave them alone with children. Definitely don't fucking leave them alone to look after children. Oh my God. Please. They are not good babysitters. Seriously, please. Don't do this. I looked after my mum for 5 years before she went into a home. And by the time, she went through all the stages. And I remember the day. Now, you'll start to pull your hair out when they start to eat dirt and grass and flowers in the garden. You'll think that's pretty fucked up. No, it's fucked up when you have to diaper, of course, by this time you'll have them in diapers. No, it's fucked up when you actually have to stop them. You have to put diapers, plastic pants on top of the diapers with little locks on them. Why? Because otherwise they put their hands down their diapers and they pull out the excrement and they eat it. These are images of my mum that just will never be erased, unfortunately. No. And remember all the time, remember that this person isn't the same person that looked after you and loved you. This disease is what's doing it, not them. It's the only way you survive. It's the only way you understand and can face it. And you know what the sad thing is? When you get to the point where they are basically a husk in a hospital bed, then they don't even react to anything, and you're just waiting for the heart to stop. You'll even miss those crazy, disgusting times. And you'll think of all the things that annoyed you. Yeah. No, I can't. I won't be able to get round. You go. I need to go over here. Thank you. It's horrific and tragic. I class dementia as one of the worst things. But I'll say this to you. That those years that you can keep them at home, because you might think, I can't do this. Take that time when the early days of dementia, where they're still themselves, where yes, they'll annoy you, yes, they'll do the crazy stuff, yes, they'll upset you. They'll make you laugh. I mean, my mum, we'll just get over here. My mum would wander into our house because both our houses were connected at the back. And she could wander in between the two in the garden. She would come in and she'd take all our cutlery and just walk straight out with it and take you upstairs and collect you upstairs. She'd take our remote controls. If we were cooking, she would walk in, pick up the gravy, take it in the backyard and pour gravy on the plants. Yeah, I miss those days. I miss her wandering through the house at night. And you're going to have to be strong. You're going to have to be strong for yourself and for them. But this is very important, what I'm going to tell you now. You need to be honest with yourself. Every single carer who looks after a dementia person goes beyond their breaking point and they suffer for it. Every single carer of a dementia person, no matter whether you spent time changing their diapers and looking after them for years, will reach a point where you can't, for your own safety and them, can't look after them. When they start getting violent, when they start destroying things, when they start smashing the house, when they start doing things that are putting you and others at risk, you have to be honest with yourself and say it's time for them to go into a home. You have to be prepared for that. You will beat yourself up for it. You will beat yourself up for it. You will think that you weren't good enough. You will think that you failed. Every single dementia carer, person who looks after a dementia person will feel they failed. But you didn't. Only do it for as long as you can do it. Because they don't want to put you through that. And it will hurt you, it will wreck you. And you need to come back from there and realise that you did something that no one else could do for that person you cared about. Remember, when they go into a home, they have multiple nurses looking after them. They have orderlies, they have people who can deal with the things. They have medication that they can put them under so that they don't actually kill themselves or someone else. You don't have access to any of that. We were told that 5 years was the longest they had ever seen anyone look after someone at home. The Admiral nurse, which was the nurse that came to see us, actually told us that we were heroes for what we had managed to do, that most people don't manage that. Because they know, these nurses know what you go through. They do it as a job, but they get to go home. They don't have to do a triple shift. They have backup. They have training. You are going to go through stuff and do stuff that most people at home should not have to. And you're a fucking hero for doing it. We do it not because we're heroes, we do it because no one else can at that point in time. It's such a horrible disease, and the thing is, you can't cure it for them. You can't fix it for them, you can't make it get better, you can't stop it. But here's the bit about an important bit. When a person first gets told they've got dementia, they will go into denial. They really will. Most people will go in denial. Very fortunate that my mum didn't. You need to break them out of that denial. And this is very important. There are medications, there are drugs out there, and new ones are coming out every day. They can't cure it, but these medications and that can actually slow down the damage, sometimes for years. You can gain years. Now, some people, these drugs don't work on at all. Back when my mum was thinking, it was like 60% do get some kind of response to the drugs, and they do help. 40% don't. My mum was in the 40% that it didn't help. But sign up for every single freaking trial. There's always trials going on for dementia sufferers, and always, what have you got to lose? I mean, seriously, what have you fucking got to lose? I mean, seriously. Sign up for trials. Make sure they get past that denial phase so that you can get them to start the treatment as early as possible. Does that what will help? Starting the treatment as early as possible. Because the early stages, if you can slow it down in the early stages, you can actually make a real difference to those early years. My mum lost the ability to speak within 6 months. Her complete ability to talk to us went away. She thought she was speaking a normal language. She wasn't. She was speaking gibberish. It had damaged her language sensors early on. So yeah. Whoever's got the dementia, get them into a trials, get them to the memory clinics, get them to start the things and keep them taking their freaking medication. Because it will make a massive difference to the early years if it is effective. I wish I could tell you there's a silver bullet. I wish I could tell you that we could fix it. Just want to check the time. I wish I could tell you some good news. But I'm on the way to the hospital now. And unfortunately, every single person who has a diagnosis of dementia in the world will end up being visited by a loved one, or just laying in a bed, their brain completely gone and their body just slowly fading away. All I can do is give you advice so that you're ready for it all, so that you've got a chance to deal with it and you can help them through the parts that you can help them. It really does suck. People say cancer sucks. Well, dementia sucks more. Dementia sucks so much fucking more. Because when it gets to this stage, all you can do, and you will, do not feel guilty when you go to see him about wishing that they were dead. Because believe me, if they could see what they've turned into and what they've become, they themselves would be wishing they would passed on. Do not feel guilty about that. And if you need to talk to me, anybody who's listening here, you can always talk to me on Discord about this. I so wish there was a silver bullet. The sad fact is my mum's body is extremely strong. That's why she's still alive now. My mum is in palliative care. She hasn't eaten or drank we're coming up to 15 days now. And her heart and her lungs are still going, still moving. Her constitution is amazing, that she's still functioning and that. It's like I said, her body doesn't realise that her brain is gone. And that's all you're waiting for, is for the body to realise. And I hate to think of anybody having to do the same thing I'm doing, having to go to visit a loved one and to watch them slowly disappear. So yeah. This is Jason for the Queber channel. I will do my normal ritual of when I get back close to the hospital, because I don't record when I'm in the hospital. Let's just say my mum would make an excellent stand-in for one of the mummies in a horror movie, or a ghoul in a horror movie at the moment, without any makeup. You will develop a very dark, very gallows form of humour to cope with this. So yes, I'm going to park up in a bit and put my little scooter on indoor mode. I know that me doing this kind of video is a good thing. I know that this forewarns people and helps them to understand what's coming. But to be giving out such news, such stuff, it sucks. We need more research into dementia. We fucking need a cure. We need something that stops the damage. And then we need something to try and help the human brain to regenerate in some way the damage, to claw back what's lost. And sadly, I think we are a long way away from that. A long way away. Far too long for all the people I see in the wards and the care homes. So take care of yourself. And if you need me, we can talk. I'm always here to talk about this kind of thing. So just let me take off my gloves and turn the speed down to the inside stuff. Get out my mask, because I don't want to take any illnesses into the ward. I'll put my mask on. So this is Jason for the Queber channel. Bye bye for now.